Those numerical separators in review snippet structured data.
This is diagnostic of a continuing and circumstance with Google.
That'll be
Let me
fun.
pop out the chat. Switch it to all messages.
Yeah, some of the questions that we've been getting recently have to do with the conference last week, so that may be a topic as well.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to SEO Fight Club. I'm just saying hello in the YouTube chat. So I'm telling everyone to ask questions and suggest topics. And let's see. All right, that looks good. And so today we're just going to do some Q&A and bounce around from topic to topic. We want to talk about the conferences because people want to hear about how Rockstars went, and they want to know what's going on with SEO spring training, which I'm pretty excited about. So maybe we'll have Terry hop on first and we can talk about spring training because we have him here today and I know he's a busy man. So Terry, what's the scoop? How would you describe SEO spring training to someone who's never heard about it before?
Let me see. Well, first of all, thank you for the shout out. That's cool. SEO spring training is a passion to teach people of all levels of this industry. That's the reason why Elizabeth and I started it. And it was from going to many, many conferences and speaking at many, many conferences and taking the goods from all of them and kind of putting it together. And then, just kind of my big thing is, who's going to be speaking, who's going to be, doing different things for the event. Like I'm a big believer in having people that are roamers of the event to get questions asked to them from anybody that wants to know. A lot of times you see at conferences that people get there and they have still questions when they leave. And my number one priority is that nobody ever has that question still when you leave type of thing. And then it's this is our fourth one. This is our second live one. We did two digital ones, and it goes kind of along our mastermind series also. So we have the same concept. We're going to have awesome masterminds for the VIPs, and then we're also talking about an after event day mastermind like they kind of did at Rockstars with Brian Cato and everybody, which was just awesome. So we take, like I said, we take good ideas that are working. We take, good ideas that are working and try to see if we can even do better and provide more value. I'm all about the value. So I know these conferences get very expensive. Especially this year, I can't believe how much costs have went up for hotels and food and just the stuff that it takes to put one of these on. But again, it's all about providing the best value and making sure people come away not just wanting to come to the next one, but excited to come to the next one because it does provide value.
So Clint, you've been to spring training before. How would you compare it to other conferences?
It's horrible. Worst conference ever.
That's the wrong guy to ask.
I liked it. It was probably one of the first mastermind format.
Mm-hmm.
And but it wasn't straight mastermind like I would think of mastermind, but at the end of the day, I think we got a lot out of it. It was actually the first one I got to take my son to, so that was kind of cool. And it's close to me, so there all those benefits.
Exactly. We'll have childcare. Obviously my family puts this on, so we'll have childcare for the single parents that want or need to bring their children, and we also do spouse events. So the spouse just doesn't have to, if they want to come, they don't have to just sit and have nothing to do. So we try to think of everybody in these things, obviously.
Wow, that's kind of unique. Like I've never seen that at an SEO conference before. That's cool.
What
Yeah,
about
that's
dog sitting?
What's that, Simon?
What about dog sitting? I've got 2 dogs. They've been my kids.
Yeah, dogs and cats. Yeah, that's kind of a little bit more of a challenge, but
I'm screwing with you.
so
Yeah,
yeah,
what a
like I said, we just want to be better, not the best. I mean, I don't ever try to go to that, mantra or whatever, but we just want people to get the value and then be excited for, what we plan next. I do a lot of follow-ups with the people that attend, especially the VIPs. The speakers do a lot of follow-ups. I mean, one of my things is that the speakers have to be involved. I mean, that's like my big thing. So I don't want you driving in, speaking, and then driving out. That's kind of not what this event's about. This is, like I said, this event's to come and meet the people that you either know or idolize or have questions with or whatever title you want to put on it. But that's kind of like before I ask somebody to speak is, are you going to be able to spend time with people at the event? Then of course, everyone that had, I mean, the interesting thing with this one is we had 81 and now 82. Yes, I had a guy contact me yesterday out of the blue, but 82 people that wanted to speak at this thing. So that kind of tells you something about, we really try to take care of everybody, including the speakers and the attendees, and make sure it's an event even they like. My big goal is if I can impress the speakers with other speakers, then that's like my favorite thing. When I introduced Marty Marion to the world at the first SEO spring training, that was a cool time for me because I had a lot of great speakers that go to a lot of events, Kyle, Clint, and they just loved Marty, and so that was like a great thing for me as a host of an event.
So
Nice.
here's a question. I haven't been to one of these yet. I'm coming to the next one, but my hero is Clint Butler.
Mhm.
So when I go and see Clint, is he doing a presentation or are you just putting his butt on a chair and say, now grill him for an hour, everybody get him, sort of, it sounds like a sort of a hybrid thing, so how does that work from an attendee? What makes it a little different than the standard conference?
Actually, Clint's going to MC this one. So he's going to be the master of ceremonies, and that's one of the cool things about having people like Clint, because Clint knows all these guys. So you don't really have to kind of say, I mean, of course you want to talk about them and see what they want to present, or want to introduce why. And that's the big thing is that Clint will be available. I mean, all the speakers will be available. They'll be in the audience. And I told, Craig Campbell, you're not going to sit out there in the, hotel lobby. I mean, it's just, because it's, I like people to come and just interact with other people. We know the networking is the most important part of these things. Yeah, you get some great stuff from the speakers, but talking to the speakers afterwards and during and all that kind of stuff, that's the goal of the whole thing. So we're bringing in people from, like Gabriel's coming from Australia, Stuart Tryer's coming down from Canada. I'll find out about Leon Sheed here in the next month. So I'm hoping Leon can come over from Australia. So we're bringing a lot of people that did SEO spring training digital over here so people can actually meet him in person, type of thing.
Nice. Yeah,
So,
I'm planning on speaking there. My
Yep.
topic is going to be stealth SEO, and I'm going to be explaining how it's different from just old school black hat cloaking. In a nutshell, it's hiding your SEO from tools and competitors, kind of taking your relationship with Google private and protecting your tuning instead of letting all the platforms sell it to the highest bidder. And so it's a unique skill set. It's probably not kosher with the search engines, but it's not quite black hat either. And so I'm going to make the case and I'm going to share source code. And so if you want to learn how to hide from tools and other SEOs, that's my topic. And
that's very cool. One of the things also, probably one of the biggest things, is that this is not going to be recorded for sale. We are talking about recording it only to give the speakers their own recordings, but it will not be live streamed. It will not be, all the stuff to protect the content at the conference. That's my big thing. I don't want, if the speaker wants to, if Ted wants to give away his video to whoever he wants to give it, his thing, totally fine. But I want the speakers to feel free to, just tell us what's going on, and don't be afraid of having it, live streamed all over the internet. So
yeah, and I'm not sharing my video. I'm talking about this topic one time, and then I'm never talking about it again. So if it interests you, you got to be there. If it doesn't, or it doesn't at that time, you'll have to innovate it yourself, because it's one of SEO's closest guarded secrets. And I'm really torn about even sharing it to begin with, but I promised I would. So it's going to happen once and only once. All right, let's move on to some SEO talk. So check out SEOspringtraining.com if you want to research it, and hopefully we'll see you there. Oftentimes some of the best nuggets are shared at the bar and after the lessons. So be sure to give it some thought. And with these conferences and conferences in general, I often find that the networking is extremely high value. Getting people you can ask questions to, finding people you can collaborate with on projects, doing that type of networking is like a huge value. If you're in a position where you need more tax write-offs, I find myself in that position frequently. It just becomes a no-brainer because you get to do your business development as well as getting a good business expense. So yeah, if you can absorb the cost and you need the tax write-off, then conferences are a great way to do that. But if you can't, we're all at a different spot in our SEO journey. And so I know that a lot of beginning SEOs can't afford conferences. The travel, the hotel, the time off work is really hard to orchestrate. So don't feel bad if you can't attend, but just note that, that's part of your journey. Eventually, you probably want to do the network and business development. All right, so we're looking for topics and questions today. We're doing a Q&A episode because I was at SEO Rockstars all week and I don't have much prepared. I did see this article, and this article is diagnostic of problems we see elsewhere in Google. So Google recommends to use a dot instead of commas in number formats. So if you're unfamiliar with the issue, if you're in Europe, a lot of European countries reverse how you use the decimal point and the commas in number formatting. They'll actually use the decimal points in European numbers as the thousands separator for large numbers, and they'll use the comma for the fractional sense for like money and things. And so it causes a problem when you're parsing, when you're switching between people using European number formats and US number formats. And this isn't complicated computer science. Like, this shit was solved in the 80s. Like, this is old school shit that beginning computer science students learn about. And so here we are, we're looking at Schema, and Google's telling the world has to use US locale, number formats because they can't handle the European number formats. And I shit you not, like Excel 1.0 solved this. All right. This isn't high-tech AI super science. You need natural language processing and AI training sets to figure out how to handle this. This is as old as it gets, and it's solved science. Like, there's no mystery to solve here. This is just pure laziness on Google engineering's part. And so forcing the world into US locale number formats is another example of how much effort Google's willing to put in. This is diagnostic to the quality of the engineering they're putting in. So if you're going to tell me that Google is using advanced AI to understand, if you made a good point in the second sentence of paragraph 4, but they can't frickin' handle a European number format, like, your claims don't match the reality of what they're coding. So, I see stuff like this, and, this is terrible. This is the type of shit that gets by when you code it in a weekend and nobody does code reviews, and you get a junior developer who's working for the first time. That's the quality of this kind of work. And the fact that they're announcing that you're going to have to deal with it because they can't fix it. Like, they made an announcement, the world has to switch to one number format because they can't figure it out on their end.
Wouldn't that mean that they've carried this stupidity into multiple levels of code? Because this doesn't seem like if you coded this in a weekend and go, oh crap, fixing this piece of code is not an engineering marvel.
Yeah. The fact that this problem exists and the fact that they're telling everyone to change because they're not going to fix it means that this problem is probably all throughout their code base. So I wouldn't be surprised if this problem is everywhere. So yeah, it's just we've seen this before. Like, we suspected with their ability to handle spam and search and why they don't, and their inability to actually solve things like lorem ipsum pages ranking number 1. There just seems to be a laziness in the problem solving and the engineering. And so it's a repeating story. So I just wanted to point it out because each little detail of this is giving us an inside window into how they operate in their organization. Nothing ever gets fixed. Nothing ever gets fixed right. Nothing ever gets fixed fast. And so, I keep waiting for something that's the job well done on one of these things, or even the job, acceptable standard. Like, if they could demonstrate that they removed some spam, that would be cool. If they could demonstrate that their rules have some kind of technical enforcement, that would be cool. But no, I mean, shit, every SEO knows that when Google gives you a list of shit not to do, that's the list of things you do because it works. And so, yeah, this is another clue as to what's going on inside of Google. And it's basically lazy engineering and apathy to take action.
Well, at Rockstars, I talked about a little bit about Google being broken, which is a topic that we've had here on Fight Club and things like that. A lot of this shit, if we see this throughout some of the processes, just maybe self-inflicted, because it's lazy. It's not just problem scale processing a bunch of stuff. It may be the way that they're processing stuff creates other problems for themselves.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they have compounding problems, because like when we see .it spam all throughout the primary index, like I found a keyword the other day that had like 30 different results of like the 160 that are available for the keyword were all .it spam network. Like, when that stuff is growing, I mean, that's a huge problem. Like, if they would solve that spam problem, they could eliminate 40% of their scaling issue, because that stuff is flooding the primary index. And so, if they're having a difficult time handling scale, how about you delete some spam? For the love of God, figure that out.
Or they pay Clint to stop running GSA, one or the other.
Yeah. Well, the .it spam network, it's all one application spanning thousands of domain names and just about every keyword you can think of. It's harder to find a keyword that doesn't have it than it is to find a keyword that does have it. And it's been around since 2015, and everybody's telling me, oh, Google's too smart for this, too smart for that. Their API, their AI can, solve anything and can understand, the nuance of what you're saying. But, if they're so damn smart, shouldn't it be fixed by now? At least any example of it. Like, I can't find an example that they've fixed. So I find the same spam in search that I've seen for 10 years. And so if they're so damn good and they're so damn smart, why isn't at least part of it fixed by now?
Yeah, Muhammad asked a question in chat. He goes, can you find .it spam in essence for the SEO Rockstars keyword?
Can I find .it spam for SEO Rockstars? All right, SEO Rockstars. All right. Now the first thing I want to say is do not click these links. All right. Even if you have antivirus, like some of this shit will ransom your computer. And if you don't have secure off system backups, you might not be getting your shit back. So, don't do what I'm doing and don't follow these links. Some of them are the most dangerous links on the web. And Google lets them in the primary index. They get to compete for your traffic. All right. So let's see what we can find here. And this one looks like it fits the bill. What do you think, Lee?
That's promising. It's a good scrape.
Boom. Yeah. Back button. There you go. We found their network.
Yes.
I think Terry Powers behind the .it network. That's what I'm saying. He signed.
So yeah, literally, it's hard to find a keyword that doesn't have this shit in it. And a lot of it is going to route you to porn and affiliate and virus download payloads, and some of it gets even worse than that. So make damn sure if you're gonna repeat this that you are on a system that you don't care about and you are on a network that is isolated from all your customers and all your coworkers. Don't do this in your corporate intranet. Do not play this game. And it gets even worse if you look at like John Mueller SEO and John Mueller backlinks. For some reason, those keywords are like the most dangerous of all. Let's see. So
hold on a second, just out of curiosity. So I see the Terry Power reveals the SEO Rockstars. I know that that's fairly recent, past 2 weeks, maybe even past week. Terry, do you recognize that? Where they scraped that from?
Which one?
Well, you see the .de there. It says Terry Power reveals the, that was scraped from Terry Powers.
Oh yeah,
and
that was scraped from my Patch article, I believe.
Yeah, and that's what they do. They there's a specific rule in the webmaster guidelines that you're not supposed to stitch content. It's a form of content theft. Take random sentences off 100 different pages and put them together. And so that's stitching, and so that's stolen content off of Terry's website. It's what you're seeing.
I'm going to write them a nasty letter.
Good luck. And the thing is, like, you can go and narc on this URL, but it doesn't matter because they have 250,000 other domains in this network. So Google doesn't let you bulk submit. So unless you're prepared to fill out the Google form 250,000 times, it's not going to do shit. And that's part of the problem. And Google's known about this for over a year. There was a while ago when there was a big news story when Google was showing no title for thousands of results. That wasn't a Google bug. That was a bug in this network. And everybody thought it was a Google bug. And Google purged it from the results. And about 4 days later, it all came back. And so, yeah, Google's aware of this. They're just not fixing it. And yeah.
Yeah, Honey said, or they don't know how.
I wonder if this is another one. You think this one is another one?
It's possible. I was scanning that one and going,
I'm getting ready on the back button. Nope, that's not one. That's legit. Oh,
that could
no,
be
that
one.
looks legit. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's a ton in this keyword, but they're here.
Badge.
Yep. Madge is a big old spammer, Terry.
He's got more stuff there than the IT network has, I think.
It wasn't me, man.
Big spammer.
So let's see. Quick question, guys. Exact match keywords in H2, or do you recommend LSI in H2? Should you keyword stuff H2, H3, H4? My answer to that is yes to all of it. I mean, why would you not have keyword rich and topically relevant headings? I think you want to make sure you do have those. What do you think, Lee?
I think I'm gonna tell everybody what it's the same things. Test it for yourself and find out. Yes, I would tell you to do it, but test it for yourself to sort of see, where the limits exist and what's operating best for you. That's it's going to be different for everybody, but in general, yes, just straight up yes.
Yeah, and Leon's asking if you are doing scraping with browser automation like Cora, is there a security risk associated with crawling those sites? There can be, because Cora has embedded Chrome, so if there's any browser exploit against Cora, it would be applicable. So yeah, software always has the possibility of vulnerabilities, especially browser software. But I do a pretty good job of keeping the Chrome and Cora updated to modern versions. So it's fairly well patched, and I always force it out whenever there's security updates. So you're generally pretty good. And as long as you're not interacting with those pages, which is the dangerous part. Because if you go there, they'll try to trigger downloads, they'll try to request permissions. And so actually interacting with those web pages is the most dangerous part. And that Cora won't let you do. So by default, we do it off page. We let it exist for a matter of seconds, and then we kill it. And it's incognito when we delete the offline context of it. So yeah, Cora's probably safer than using your own local browser. Let's see. Can we talk about stealth SEO today? Yeah, we could talk about it a little bit, but let's do that a bit later. Let's see if there's any other topics people want. Let's see. Mohammed said, "Oh my God, I did not expect that. You wanna give us another keyword? Should we test it?" And sometimes people like to see the hunt. Okay,
Cora.
Keyword Cora. All right, Cora software, because Cora's a name for numerous products. All right, Cora SEO software will be specific. Okay, So let's, again, do not do this at home. Please don't do it at home. All right. So scanning backwards. Scanning backwards. Ooh, this looks interesting. Not quite the pattern, but it's weird.
Yeah.
No, that one's okay. That's
I think one of your press releases from somewhere.
yeah. This one looks bizarre. Like the URL format. This one looks bizarre.
That one actually could be.
The France.
Yeah.
All right, we'll give it a try. Nope, that one's not it. Try the one below just in case. Nope.
Yeah, that's not it.
So far coming up zeros, but we'll see. Let me check a few of these bottom ones again. Because there's one I thought.
They were all clean. You know, it's got that very specific the way that it formats the title and everything else. That one was fine.
Yeah, we saw that one before. That's a different type of network, but it's not the IT one.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go to the bottom of the next
Yeah, so we're seeing a network here, but it's not the network we're looking for.
right. Somebody scraped some different things there.
All right, so maybe they rank better.
Yeah, so we're down at the bottom. All right, sites. Photo search engine.
Oh, wait, what was that SEO coupon down there?
I didn't see. Apparently, Ted, your shit's not worth stealing.
Yeah, that's what I'm learning.
That's all I'm gonna say. You know, even the spammers won't touch your stuff. They don't want to mess up their quality.
Oh. Could it be?
That actually looks legit, even though it's a
Looks legit.
.it.
Yeah, not the network.
Look for lowercase.
Yep, you're looking for the lowercase stuff. That isn't it. Yep. They don't love you, Ted. You've talked about them so much, they're avoiding your sites.
Yep.
It's a group buy. That's where I get all my Quora from.
Oh, yeah.
That Holzman thing doing up there. It's clean.
Wow, we found one of the rare ones. Let me look one more place. Sometimes you got to look underneath the carpet.
That's what she said.
No, she didn't. That's what Honey said. She knows she did.
Ted, do Clint Butler's name. There should be something dodgy under his name.
Well, we'd expect to see all kinds of craziness there. All right, so came up goose eggs on mine.
Oh yeah, Clint, I did see that. Hello.
Nope, doesn't fit the bill. There we go. Found it. So it's there for Clint. And we could do on Mueller. Let's see. Let's find a good one.
SEO or Google or whatever.
Google. Yeah, there we go. But these tend to be ringers for some reason. Maybe tons of content most likely to scrape. So they're high concentration, high likelihood if you have more content. Yeah, I'd do the bottom.
There it is.
Well, yeah, we got them. Yep, going back. So yeah, you can find these everywhere except on my brand. I'm not big enough to warrant it.
Give me a second.
Yeah, Mohammed says, or they're too scared. No, I think the more content you have to draw from, the more likely you will be included. And Clint has a blog and a ton of posts, and John Mueller has tons and tons of posts. So kind of the more you're pushing out there, the more likely you'll be included. Ted, is there a plugin that you can insert paragraph heading tag that will show only on the back end and not on the front end? Well, I mean, you can just make a paragraph on your page and then edit that post as HTML and add the style, display none syntax to it, and that'll take it offline. But keep in mind that if you're putting a bunch of SEO text in there, you probably want to do an ARIA hidden equals true, so you're not reading it to the vision impaired, because that is really rude to do, especially if it's a lot of SEO text.
I think more to the point, if you create a plugin that does something like that, and then it gets advertised, that's kind of motivation to kill it. I mean, then they'll start targeting that string, the display none style.
Yeah, you could make a custom plugin and not distribute it. Like if you wanted to make one for your own use, that would be pretty easy. You could probably take an existing one and just modify it for your needs.
So let me just go in a different way, because we all got back from Rockstars. What was sort of a takeaway that you would share from your time at Rockstars? What was a takeaway that you'd be willing to share with the audience?
With
people watching the show.
Well, one of the main things that I thought was amazing was that there's a lot more testers than I thought there would be. And it is SIA, which is known for testing, but normally when you have people presenting, they're just doing presentations of what they know. They're not showing research. And this year was kind of different. I feel like there's a lot more people showing research, showing hard data they've collected themselves, showing proof, doing peer review. Mike Merlino challenged everyone in the room. He told everyone how to do the thing he was doing and showed the results he was getting. And then he pretty much challenged the room to prove him wrong. And so, it came off as like, bravado and passion, and everybody loved his speech, but really what he did there was fundamental science. He had a hypothesis, he ran tests, he gathered data, he shared his methods, and he asked for people to reproduce his results and to challenge his outcomes. And so that right there is, that's scientific research. And Chris Palmer came to the table with tests. So he came with like, 20, 30 different things he had tested personally, and he showed his research. And so it's like, wow, he came to the table as a tester. I know there is some issues about his conclusions and methods, but hey, for first foray into testing, I think that was rock solid. If he keeps at it, he'll get better. What do you think, Clint?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think there was a lot of, I think that quality of those speakers. I mean, I can selfishly say I picked them, but I picked them because I wanted to hear from them, and I've heard most of them like talk, not in a speaking presentation, just actually have conversations with those guys and gals. And I can say that I didn't walk away from there disappointed at all. I mean, the last Rockstars, I got like a page and a half of notes. This one I came away with 10. I mean, that alone is significant because I don't write it down if I already know it, right? And I talked to a couple other people. Some of them have the same amount of me. Some of them have like 25 pages of notes. I mean, when you can walk away with that much value, I think it's awesome.
Yeah. I thought it was really impressive, and I don't want to out anybody's secrets. So that's kind of the problem with talking about the show, is I can't really say the awesome nugget that so and so said because it's not mine to share.
Can't really say, I couldn't believe that if you just turn your page green, you rank number one. That's the
yeah, exactly. And so that's kind of the hard spot about these conferences, is they're so good and they have so much good information, but it's totally inappropriate for me to share the big nugget drop that that Lee Witcher gave at the conference, because it's not my thing to share.
Yeah, I was surprised he's using the Yoast SEO analysis and ranking pages.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep it simple, man. Green light, red light.
That was like the biggest disappointment of the week.
Well, what was really cool was his test pages, where he could rank HTML pages with nothing but meta keywords. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
I think, for me, one of the things that you always know about the conversations at the bar, whatever you take away from the presentations, you're going to get a lot more at the bar. But I really watched a lot of people at the conference, and there were people who were fairly new. And a lot of people know each other, and so you have these little groups that run around and people that do. But there were a lot of people that stayed on the periphery of a little bit, and I saw some that engaged. Would sit there and walk up to a Clint Butler and say, "Hey, what about that thing that you did?" Or, "Terry, how are you doing this? This particular thing?" Or those. And I watched them, go to dinners with some of the people, or little after events and things like that. And they were contributing and taking and sort of batting ideas around with the rest of them. And I know, because I talked to some of them afterwards, they left with 10 times the experience they expected, because they did engage with like a Terry Samuels or Terry Power or Clint Butler, or Ted Kabitis, whatever. So it was really, really interesting to watch how much people got out of it by their willingness to actually engage with the people on stage, the rock stars that presented and whatever. So it's just a reminder of that. And for me personally, I got a lot out of the room, but if I had to rank it, it's the room. It gave me some stuff. Above that would be the bar. Above that ended up being the hallway, or the after parties. There was more nuggets and stuff that went around, or more ideas that flew around, because when you get 3, 4, 5 SEOs to talk about a particular topic. I mean, just great stuff blooms from that.
Yeah, and in the small group breakouts, like at the bar and at the mixer events and in the hallways, it's more like a professional consultation. Hey, I've seen this crazy thing, or I've started working with this new tactic and I'm seeing X, if you had any experience with that. And so you tend to get these things that aren't intended for mass consumption, but it tends to be very cutting edge data. Let's see, we have a question here of please let me know how to delete or edit schema of a web page without the rank math plugin. If you're just trying to add it like it's a WordPress thing and you're not sure how to get it in there, there should be a million plugins that let you do it. But if you want to go low level, you could just edit your post as HTML, get out of the WYSIWYG, get into the HTML editor, and you can just paste the JSON LD for the page into the post. It's not a scalable way to do it, but it should work because you can have your JSON LD just about anywhere. What do you think, Clint?
I think that's a weak ass question, and you need to go Google how to add schema to your pages. I mean, we could come up with 1,000 different methods to do that. You need to find the one that works for you.
Yeah. And my method won't scale. You'll be editing your website for years. So odds are you probably just want to find the right plugin that works well with how you work. So, all right. Carolyn, what's new with indexing?
I just think it's a never ending joy. But I think right now they're fixing a failed bot and going to the next one and then testing it out. So I think we're going to see a little slowness for a little bit, but it's happening.
And if you want to keep track of the state of Google's indexing, it's Crawl or No Crawl on YouTube. It's a daily update as to what's going on in the data. And Carolyn is measuring data, throughout the year, all year long. So she's the person we go to when we need to know what's happening in the indexing data. And so she's putting up test pages and seeing when they get indexed, and is it simple indexing or rendered indexing? Are they both online? What indexing routes are open? Is it for new content or just existing content? So her data is fantastic. Nobody has anything similar to it. And that's, again, Crawl or No Crawl. So we have Madge here from Magic PR, and I have a question for you. I know the last time I ran a press release through your service, I ended up getting about 300 referring domains. And at that time, you mentioned that you were working on expanding that so it'd be more applicable to addressing referring domain deficits. What's the state of that? What can people expect in terms of referring domains from a Magic PR?
Right now, you're looking between 600 and 700 referring domains. I have managed to sign a contract with one of the other major distributor in the US. Now we have national US distribution. So from a referring domain point of view, Ted, there's a huge amount.
All right. Yeah, that's a big number. So
yeah.
that's
I think our basic packages are guaranteed 537 referring domains, and the gold and platinum are over 650.
All right. Well, I'm glad that we got that updated, because I've been meaning to let people know what the state is. And I've used your press release service direct to my website, and it's always been fine. And so hopefully people get similar results. But from what I could tell in the past is that your press release link quality tends to be higher than average. So I always kind of pigeonholed your service into any cases where you have backlink quality problems. You probably want to go to Magic PR because on average, it's going to be a higher level of quality than most other services.
No, thank you. I've always tried to have the best quality out there, and trying to get not just the best quality, but the best traffic and authority from these top PR sites. So we managed now to get Business Insider, which again is a huge goal for me as an individual, because I just want the best out there for our clients. And if we can keep bringing it, then yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah, on average, how often do businesses issue a press release? What are people doing today as a best practice?
It really does vary. For local, they do one every 2 to 3 months when it's more competitive, whether it's e-com or affiliate related work that people aren't doing, or national. They're doing one at minimum one a month right now. And I have a couple of marketing agencies in the UK as well as US that tend to do minimum 3 per client. So because we're interlinking and when you refer to referring domains, we're targeting different pages for them. And so they can have that referring domain count a lot higher what it is right now. So don't just target the homepage. The way I like to recommend, Ted, when you do a PR campaign, if you're doing it for the first time, the first ever PR campaign should be targeting the brand. Once you've targeted the homepage and the brand itself, then you move over to either one of the inner pages or you target your blog post. And that way you can interlink a lot better from a PR point of view. And we tend to interlink every PR campaign that we do for our clients, as long as it's relevant and topical.
All right. And I'm going to ask the question that no PR businesses talk about. So hopefully you're okay with me asking it. But link decay. So no PR is permanent. What I tend to see from a lot of services is anywhere from 6 months to 18 months. You start seeing the links disappear. What's your experience with that? How long do these backlinks exist?
I'm going to give you 2 answers to this now. A lot of PR companies out there are not direct with the major distributors. They're either going through a middleman or through a third way of getting those links to you, right? By doing that, you have a contract with them that allows you to either have a 3, 6, 9 months time delay on when that press release purges. I've managed, Ted, from my main aim for Magic PR was be direct with all our major distributors. To do that, one of my main goals is when I sign that contract, I want to make sure those links are permanent. Yes, with the major distributors like Yahoo Finance and Yahoo News, you're looking between 9 and 12 months until that press release purges. With the sites like AP News, Globe Newswire, they are guaranteed permanent links. There's only one distributor that I have that will purge 40 links, maximum 40 links out of those 700 after 6 months, right? But the rest, my aim is to make sure those are permanent links that don't disappear at all for you. And touch wood, it's going in that direction for me, because again, I'm only signing on that dotted line if my guidelines and what I want for my company gets ticked over. As long as they're happy with doing that, then I will be offering them. So my aim from day one was permanent links.
Cool. I have a question for you, Madge. You know, the SEO Rockstars, they ran a ranking competition. A lot of top SEOs, came into it trying to, rank for the competing term. Do you know what the result of that competition was? Who won?
I think I did. I think I won all 3 categories.
All right. Follow-up question, Terry Powers' demand for a recount, how do you respond?
Yes, the contest itself for SEO Rockstars, the first category was who could rank the quickest, and I've managed to do that within less than a day. I did give everyone a chance to beat me, but unfortunately they never. My aim, and I did speak to Clint about this. My aim for that Saturday when the event finished or the contest to be ended I wanted to make sure I can trigger the top story section. And I managed to do what I wanted to do. So I think I sent out two or three PRs. And the way I did things, and I can't mention on here, it managed to do what it needed to. And we ended up with, I think, 4 positions on page 1. But it just shows, as long as you've got high authoritative sites in your network with a lot of traffic and are trusted by Google, they're going to win. And when I knew the top story section was going to get triggered, I knew nobody could beat me. I just had that confidence in myself and my service.
Nice.
And it managed to do it.
Congrats, man.
Awesome. And so we have a question. What's the service? It's magicpr.com. Is that correct, Madge?
That's correct, Ted, yeah.
All right. So check it out. I don't make any money off of that. I just use his service. I don't have an affiliate or anything. So I'm a customer.
And by the way, Ted, I did want to mention, I will be offering a Black Friday deal very soon.
Yeah. I can recommend his Black Friday deals. I bought a number of credits from him like 5 years ago, and I still haven't gone through all the credits, and he still honors them. So yeah. If you can get a steal on his credits, definitely do. He's great about letting them stay until you need them.
You've paid for the service, so whether you use them now, whether you use them in 3 years' time, I don't mind. As long as I'm around, I'll let you use them.
Yep. So yeah, that's totally what happened in my case. And yeah, I was thankful because projects come up for me. I don't do it all the time. I do, experimentation and tests and, little niche projects here and there. So I can go 6 months without needing one. All right. So we have 2 more questions I'm going to answer, and then I have to wrap up because I have a meeting. So on the schema, they want one more answer on it on how to do it without a plugin. And so the thing you want to research is editing a post is HTML in WordPress. So go to YouTube, find out how to edit a post as HTML in WordPress, and then you want to get a YouTube video on how to create your own JSON LD schema markup. And when you're editing as HTML, you just paste it in. It's a copy paste thing. And then we have another question. Why don't you just search the page for .it? The name .it spam comes from when it was originally discovered. It only appeared on .it websites. That is no longer the case. It spans many, many, many country codes now. And so you kind of look at the formatting of the SERP to spot them, which is what we are doing. It just happened that they were .it this time around. Let's see, I've heard Ted talk about getting more unique linking domains for e-com sites. Would you send PR campaigns to major product categories? If so, how often? I like to go minimal. Like if your press is honest and white hat, like if you've made a new deal to sell Kong dog toys, maybe you do a press release to announce that availability of Kong products in your store. You do a press release going to that category. But you wouldn't necessarily start doing a press release to every product. That would be the wrong thing to do. And oftentimes there's kind of a gestalt effect and there's a diminishing return effect, depending upon the size of your site. So if you kind of have a smaller website, you don't need to press release every page. You do the brand, you do an inner page, maybe by the time you get to 3 or 4 important aspects of your business, you might not need any more press releases until those links decay. So for smaller sites, the rules kind of change a bit, but you can get really good outcomes because you're going to a trusted source for authority. You're syndicating a white hat message that isn't deceptive, and you're addressing factor deficits. And so referring domains is a diversity factor, and it's an important one to consider. And it's been one of my favorite factors of the year. And the fact that I can do one press release in many scenarios and be done with off page has been really powerful for me. And it's part of my minimum viable SEO. There's my nugget. There's my nugget from Rockstars. I just said it. I'm not going to even repeat it. So said too much already. All right. Thank you, everyone. And we'll see you again next week. And thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Ted.
Hi, everybody.